and all across the 48th state. This is the Gatos and Chad Show.
Happy Wednesday! Happy Wednesday! Just a second, we'll get to the most hated athlete in Phoenix, leaving Phoenix. Stick around for that.
He's gone.
It's such a good day. It's a good day. Very interesting. We've got an Arizona school board member suing. She says she's getting censored for reading scripture at meetings. We've talked about this woman before. Peoria school board member Heather Rooks, she was on with Broomhead earlier today. You and I have talked about her before. She carries a lot of baggage.
She does.
She does. And, you know, we've got a lot of, you know how you and I always talk about activists on school boards? Remember the activist we talked about that was on a school board that didn't want Christian teachers from a Christian university?
They're short teachers, and where was it? They were going, was the NAU or somewhere, and they were student teachers, but because they signed something when they went to school there, she decided not to have them on campus because, you know, they would indoctrinate the children.
Right, and that school board member, Washington Elementary School District, had the kitty ears on. She was a real beauty, right? I don't want an activist sitting on the school board. I totally disagreed with what she did. Why can't we have Christian teachers teaching children? We can. So there's kind of the other side of activism. You've got this woman whose name is Heather Rooks, and, you know, she's on this school board. And as I said, she has baggage. She's very anti-teacher. She's very anti-LGBTQ. A lot of times she gets parents up in arms about bathrooms, right? And certainly there was this one school that she was talking about, and parents were going crazy. She was getting them up all and up in arms. Guess how many trans kids are in the school? Zero. Right. So this is what we're dealing with, a different type of activism. This is a woman who asked for a teacher to be fired over an email that was very innocent, and it had LGBTQ in it. And she didn't like that, and so she went after this teacher's job. So here's the latest. She's now suing the school district for censoring scripture readings at meetings. Okay? So we know we have
I bet you I bet you it's her First Amendment right. Is that what she's saying? It's my First Amendment right. You're shushing me from my First Amendment right.
What do you think of that?
You have a right. I mean, again, it's a school board meeting. It has nothing to do with kids, so that's one thing. That being said, you're doing this because it's about you.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's not about whether or not you want to spread the word of God. It's about you. Look at me. You want to use some power and you want to push an agenda. Right. Why can't we just teach kids anymore? Whatever happened to, hey, you know what? I got it. My agenda is to get you through school.
Yeah. See, I think this lady does a disservice to Christians. I'm a Christian and you're a Christian. And I think one thing that we do on this show is we have...
Hello, YouTube. Super short video on the way to work today. By the way, I'm sitting at the red light at 24th Street in Buckeye. It's 2:17 p.m. Wednesday, September 27th, 2023. Yeah, I gotta look at the phone or I can't tell what the hell the date is. I never remember, although I did remember it was Wednesday. So much I wanted to say today and failed at recording on the ride in. As soon as I started recording, Mac and Gatos came on with some, or I always want to say Mac and Gatos. Mac Watson's been gone for the show for years. Gatos and Chad came on with some pretty interesting stuff, and my phone overheated before that even finished. Just wanted to point out that I'm getting to work a little bit late. I actually had a really good talk with Rob about that on Monday. I had to think about it. Yeah, Monday. So not yesterday, but the day before. And I told him that I had stayed till midnight and that I was trying to make up for hours for the day that I was late because I was dealing with having lost my house keys. And he's like, well, did you go into overtime? I'm like, no. He's like, oh, that's fine then. So I've kind of got to go ahead from him to flex my hours up a little bit if my personal life requires it without having to bug him on the phone and whatnot. I'm not too worried about me showing up. In fact, I'm going to be roughly about 20 minutes late. I highly doubt anybody's going to even notice I showed up late. You go in, clock in, write it down, and hop in an electric car and head up to the upstairs chargers. That's become kind of my favorite way to start my day. lately. So the new guy last night, really cool. Obviously, all he's going to be able to do for me is drive the Shag, which is not a bad thing. I mean, he did help me arrange the lot after lunch a little bit. He seemed kind of frustrated by it, but obviously it was something that needed to be done. He seemed kind of annoyed. He made one mistake, and I guess my mistake was that I wasn't watching him. Like, why are you stopping there, dude? Wow, what an odd place for somebody to stop. And of course, I wasn't shooting video forward, so y'all couldn't see it. Now, somebody stopped in the cul-de-sac there, directly blocking the driveway that goes into the main Hertz lot, the one that's got the security entrance. And he didn't block my entrance into the parking lot where I always park, by the Hertz office, behind the Hertz office, but it was awkward. I don't know why I'm talking so much about it, because it's not like any of y'all could see it with my camera right here pointing at me. So yeah, new guy, I want to say he's like about 5 or 6 years older than me. I don't know what kind of accident he's had or what kind of ailment he has, but he definitely struggles to walk. I gotta do that to get my keys out. Yeah, he struggles to walk, and so obviously I'm not going to put him in a position where he's doing a bunch of walking, and that's fine. Like, at least he followed my lead when it came to like where to take me and where to drive the Shag and stuff. So that worked out fine, a million times better than what I get when I'm trying to work with Emmanuel. I will not ride in a Shag driven by Emmanuel anymore. Not since the incident where he left me in the bird shit covered car that was dead and took off with my phones. You know, the one thing he pointed out in that argument was, well, it's on you if you leave your phones in the car with me, and he's right. I can't argue with that. So I don't do that anymore, and consequently I don't roll in a car with him, because damned if I'm going to be taking my phones and shit, especially when they're charging, in and out of a Shag every time I get out, because I can't count on the driver of that Shag to stay with me like he needs to. So see if I can do this with one hand. Here we go. I have skills as it gets stuck on my damn nose. Anything else I really wanted to say? So it went well with him. I would say we definitely got more stuff done. I don't think we got as much stuff done as two people working the way I work on foot would have done, but I definitely got more done with him than with me alone. And I think cumulatively we got more done working that way than if this guy was to work alone. He's not going to be here today. He said he only wanted to work part-time, so he's only going to be here on, I think he said, Saturday, Tuesday, and Thursday. So I don't work Saturday, at least not now. And somebody just came out of the shop. I had to stop for a moment there. I think I'm already developing a reputation as a weirdo who talks to himself and talks to the cars. So came right out of the shop door by where I was. I'm walking past the paint shop right now. So anyway, I enjoyed working with him. I don't think he was too terribly bothered by me. At one point he seemed interested in learning about the electric cars, and then seemed interested in, he said he'd never driven a Tesla and was nervous about driving them. At one point he seemed interested in me showing him how to do it, and after one short ride in a Tesla he changed his mind. So a little disappointed with that, but I mean, with him driving the Shag, it helps. So I'm gonna have him helping me out 2 days a week. I think that's the game plan. Today I'm back to my usual of rolling solo. I wanted to say some stuff about Wonolo. I'm just about to break from where I clocked in. Most notable thing is I've got shifts scheduled for Friday morning and Saturday morning. They're 12-hour shifts. They start at 6 a.m., so it's going to be a real struggle, especially on Friday morning. But it's not getting me where I need to financially, but each shift pays $161, so that times 2 is going to put me in a much better space, at least for paying rent and for paying storage rent. So that's a good thing. And I'll explain more about what's going on with Wonolo and also HelloFresh later, because there is quite a bit going on with me with that. Oh yeah, that's a great view of me. Oh wow. So I thought I'd shoot a short video. It's actually my second car moving right now, and it just did that thing, and I don't have a lot of cars that do this, but every now and then one gets me, where whoever drove it last set a preset for the seat, a preset seat position that it will go into once you start the car. And when it was going to that position, it must have been someone really tiny, because it was slamming my knees right into the dashboard. Not pleasant. So 2:37 p.m. right now. Duran Duran on the radio. I'm not changing that. That works for me just fine. As I've explained before, like I always gotta have music or news, something going before I start moving the car. Generally speaking, I know some people might wish I would hurry up, but I gotta get comfortable. I do, and having music or news on, it does a lot to quiet the voices in my head, and that's important if I'm driving. Someday I really want to get some video recording glasses, so that y'all can see what I see as I'm coming out. Because right now I'm pulling out of the Dollar Thrifty line, and there is a really weird conflict point here. I would say it is the worst, if not the second worst conflict point in this whole hurt space in which I work. And I yield. I'm in no hurry. I yield until it's clean. I'm paid by the hour, so it doesn't, in my opinion, doesn't hurt in the slightest for me to just sit and chill and wait, and until it's clear. Moving now. So 80s on 8, we got which means we got SXM satellite radio in this car. Familiar with that channel. Kind of on the fence on this Aerosmith song these days. Fine woman getting into a rental car on the right, into the trunk. That was nice. So I'm gonna turn the knob one click to the left. Get me on 70s on 7. Yeah, that's better. That's better. Passing in front of the Hertz return area. Doesn't look like there's too many. Not only is there not too many maintenance cars in the maintenance car line there, but I just saw Emmanuel, the French guy, sitting in one, and I think I saw Keontae driving the shack. So I'll probably join up with him when I park this one. This one doesn't have stop, which means it needs an oil change. I'm going down the ramp right now. I wasn't going to narrate my drive. Actually, what I was going to do is say that my first car isn't what I thought it would be. I didn't see any electric vehicles ready to go up. I did see a Tesla facing the direction it was ready to go up, but I could look inside and see it had somebody's personal stuff in it. It's an odd place for somebody to leave a car with their personal stuff on it, and they didn't leave the blinkers on, which is generally our signal to somebody that, hey, I'm using this car and I've got my personal shit in there. Please don't take off in it. But I don't know. I saw personal stuff in it. That was enough for me to decide to check another car. I grabbed one of the custom Ford Shelby Mustangs, which goes to Ultimate, which, as I've explained before, the bulk of the up-down drivers are not allowed to move those. I'm allowed to move absolutely anything on this lot. I mean, they figure my driving is good enough to move something like an Alfa Romeo or a Maserati that's having mechanical issues and handling issues. So yeah, that's way higher value and a more tricky drive than one of those Mustangs. Grabbing my orange hat. Convinced I'm the only one who puts the hats on these vehicles that actually makes a point to make sure that I'm not putting it on a glass top. That's why it took me a little bit to get that on. So most of the top of this, it's a Nissan Rogue I'm driving, but yeah, it's got the glass top or whatever. Yeah, those magnetic hats, they don't stick to that. Wow. This line is all the way to the back. So I'm starting the second line here. That's odd for this time of day. So, yeah, not much else to say. That's all. Just recording a little bit more. That's what I started moving, and I took it up. There was an issue with it had a duplicate slip instead of a regular slip, which for some reason lacks the 3-letter code and the barcode I need to put it in the system. So I'm running, since it's an ultimate vehicle, I brought the ticket into somebody in the office. Esther just walked right by me. It's so funny seeing her nowadays in an orange vest. No longer being a lead, but I tell you, it's one less thing for me to worry about. Anyway, also serviced the electric vehicles. I didn't move any, but there was one in what I've been explained to me as the Hertz reserved row, and I wouldn't have moved it anyway because it's the Hertz reserved row, but it was fully charged. Made sure it had its charging kit. It did. Somebody actually put a note in the driver's window saying, "Hey, this is a reserve. Don't move this." But yeah, I wasn't going to move it anyway. But I did move the charging cable off of it since it was 100%. Make sure it had its charging kit. And there was another one in the spot on the opposite side of that charger, the main spot that I use when I'm using that as a charger bay. So got that one started. And now I'm here. So I need to get back to work.